Lao Adventures, Rice Noodles, Episode2b, from the former capital of the Laos People's Democratic Republic. Last episode, you came along for the ride and watched me step in poop, struggle with a stubborn buffalo, break a plow, and thrash some rice with my good old slap and wiggle method. This episode, we explore the next few steps in the noodle making process. At this point, our rice doesn't even look like rice yet. As I explained earlier, it looks more like flax seeds. So the question was, how do we remove the husk? We pound the living daylights out of it. For this, we used a mortar and pestle. But it was much different than the mortar and pestle we see in the West, and also different from the ones I encountered in Ghana while learning to make fufu. Rather than pounding with your hands, this mortar and pestle had a foot lever. As you push down on the lever, the giant hammer raises, and when you let go, it falls, pounding the mixture that's held in a well that has been carved out of a wooden plank. This is a two-person job. And besides the person who's operating the foot lever, someone has to be turning the mixture constantly to make sure that it's equally worked. Regardless of whether you're using the West African style tool or the Laos style tool, in my opinion, the person flipping the mixture has the most dangerous job. Above all else, they need to ensure that their partner has some sort of a consistent rhythm. If you can't dance, if you can't even clap in time when singing happy birthday to a coworker, you cannot be my noodle making buddy. I like my hands and I like all of my fingers. So now that the husk has been removed, we can place the grains of rice into a grinding wheel. And the grinding wheel is two large round pieces of stone that have had ridges carved into them. Little by little, the rice is poured with a little bit of water into the center of these two grinding wheels. And it gets crushed in between the two wheels, creating a very wet and sticky solution that seeps out of the sides of the grinding wheel and is collected in a bowl underneath. Insert more manpower here. This grinding wheel was not easy to operate. I mean, it looked easy, obviously, when it was demonstrated, but for some reason when I operated it, it kept getting stuck. I would make a couple of full rotations in a circular motion as if I was doing a strange 60s dance, and then somehow, for some reason, it would get stuck. The only way to get moving again was to have someone come and help give the wheel a push so that I could resume the circular motion. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Seems easy enough, right? Right. This bowl full of sticky rice water is fermented for 2 days and boiled on an open stove for several hours before we're ready for the next step of the process. The fermented rice mixture reminded me of cassava after you wring it out and just before you add the eggs and other liquids to make cassava pie. And the more it was pounded and pounded, the more it began to look like Play-Doh and got a stickier, thicker consistency. Take a minute to notice the banana leaves that have been placed around the mortar and pestle. After all, after you've gone through all of this work, reaping, dehusking, boiling, fermenting, the last thing you want to do is waste any of your hard work. And that concludes the pound and grind section of the noodle making process. I hope you have enjoyed the adventure so far and will stay tuned for the third and final episode in this series.